Hello, this is Chef Siddiq with you on NS Weekly English News. A landmine exploded early Thursday in an agricultural area in western Myanmar's Arakan province, killing at least 3 Rohingyas and injuring 7 others. Arakan news agency reported that the area where the explosion occurred was the site of Myanmar army in late 2016. The Rohingya also reported that the Myanmar army made extensive tours in the area 2 days before the incident. According to agency's correspondent, this landmine was planted in a hidden manner by the Myanmar army and the security forces surrounding the Rohingya areas to impede the work of the United Nations envoy, who is visiting Arakan currently, and to create a state of terror for the teams trying to access more evidence proving the involvement of the army in carrying out genocide, mass arson and mass raping in the region. The preliminary picture and the video clips sent from the scene showed several Rohingya died and wounded in the absence of any hospital or medical center to treat the wounds, as the villagers try to heal the injured in primitive ways to save their lives without the security forces helping any wounded. It is worth mentioning that the Myanmar authorities had earlier refused to receive the fact-finding mission approved by the Security Council, and the demonstration have condemned the visit of the United Nations Special Envoy. The Foreign Minister of Canada, Chrystia Freeland, has spoken out against the persecution and continuous suffering of Rohingya. On July 10, 2017, she tweeted, "The Rohingya has suffered for too long." She also tagged United Nations official Twitter account is standing for the human rights in Rakhine, she stated in her tweet. Both Freeland and the US ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, has also called on the Burma to cooperate with the UN Commission that the government had decided to block from doing its work by refusing visas to its investigating team. Recently, a new head of UN Refugee Affairs called upon Burma to return citizenship to the Rohingya. Rohingya women lined up to tell reporters of missing husbands, mothers and sons on Saturday, as international media were escorted for the first time to a village in Myanmar's northern Arakan state affected by the violence since October 2016. "My son is not a terrorist. He was arrested while doing farm work," said one young mother, Sarbeda. She has bustled her way, an infant in her arm, to several other women telling reporters their husbands has been arrested on false grounds. In November, Myanmar's army swept through villages where stateless Rohingya Muslims live in the area of Mongdo. Some 75,000 people fled across the border to Bangladesh, according to the United Nations. UN investigators who interviewed the refugees said allegations of gang rape, torture and arson and killings by security forces in the operations were likely crimes against humanity. Myanmar's government, led by Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi, has denied most of the claims and is blocking entry to the UN fact-finding mission tasked with looking into the allegations. The government has also kept the independent journalists and human rights monitors out of the area for past 9 months. This week, the Ministry of Information escorted more than a dozen foreign and local journalists representing international media, including Reuters, to the area under a guard of officers from paramilitary Border Guard Police, Myanmar. Some 75,000 stateless Rohingya Muslims, people who fled a bloody army crackdown, live in western Arakan state and are reeling from a food crisis. More than 70,000 children under the age of 5 living in the majority Muslim areas of western Myanmar are wasting and will need treatment for acute malnutrition over the next year, the World Food Programme has warned. The report from the United Nations agency has based on an assessment of the villages in western Arakan state where some 75,000 stateless Muslim Rohingya people have fled a bloody army crackdown. Those who remain are now reeling from a food crisis, with WFP finding 1/3 of homes are experiencing extreme food deprivation in Mongdo, one district particularly affected by the violence. This includes episodes of no food in house or not eating for 24 hours. A quarter of all households composed of only one female adult, as men had left due to the military campaign. This household has the highest frequency of episodes of severe hunger, WFP said. No children under the age of 2 met minimum adequate diet requirement, the assessment found, while 225,000 people need humanitarian assistance immediately. The Myanmar government has accused 6 Rohingya civilians of involvement in violence in October 2016 crisis north of Arakan state. Arakan news agency correspondent said the 6 suspects were arrested on Friday from the village of Nakura in the city of Mongdo, and government announced on Monday that the charges against them were confirmed. The local population denies this charge in full, accusing the government of Myanmar of implicating innocent civilians in an attempt to liquidate militias and terrorize Muslims. Local government media showed that the 6 suspects and said the government has conducted an investigation within 3 days in which the charges against them has been confirmed, which is unclear what the fate of the accused was and what kind of punishment they would have faced. Rohingya activists expected the government to execute the charge, which they said was fabricated, and the government accounts lacked the necessary evidence and proof at a time when the Muslims were not allowed to hire a lawyer to defend their cases. Director General of Arakan Rohingya Union ARU visits the Rohingya community school in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Dr. Wakaluddin's message to the youngster: you are the future of the Rohingya people and education is your backbone. That is the pathway to success. Dr. Uddin encourages the student to strive for the best, become the role models and to be the example of the Rohingya community. In his conclusion remarks, he stated, your success in education is the key to advancing your career. Take care of your families and friends and helping your neighbor and your community in Malaysia and in Arakan, serving humanity around the world at every opportunity, and you will be loyal to serve your host country. Malaysia has provided you the refuge, and your family escaped from persecution, killing, atrocities and terror on your own soil, in your own country, Myanmar. Thank you for watching. This is Siddiq. Hope to see you very soon with more news.